Welcome into today's deep dive. We are so thrilled to have you here with us.
Yeah, glad you can make it.
Today we've got a really fascinating stack of sources to go through. We're looking at a collection of newcomer guides, some protocol documents, and these highly philosophical essays about a new suite of blockchain experiments.
Right. It's called MFLO.
Exactly, MFLO. And the mission for our deep dive today is to really explore this radically counterintuitive idea that these documents present. We're essentially asking you to consider, what if the cure for our modern, completely chaotic, spam-filled internet isn't, removing friction?
Right.
What if the cure is intentionally adding it back in?
I mean, it's a premise that completely upends the last 20 years of tech design. And to really understand it, the sources draw on this piece of history that I just think frames the problem so perfectly.
Oh yeah, it takes us right back to the early 1900s. And when you picture that era, it's so easy to imagine this quiet, sepia-toned world.
Yeah, like cobblestones and quiet afternoons.
Exactly. But if you stood at a major city intersection in America right around, say, 1914, it was anything but quiet.
Yep.
It was actually terrifying.
Oh, absolutely.
You had horses, pedestrians, bicycles, and these brand new automobiles all just converging on the exact same open crossroad at the exact same time.
Just total chaos. I mean, the statistics from that era are genuinely staggering. By 1920, auto deaths in the U.S. topped 12,000 a year.
Wow.
Detroit alone was seeing a pedestrian killed almost every single day.
And the root cause wasn't even that people were inherently malicious or trying to hit each other. It was that entering the intersection was entirely free.
Right. Zero friction.
Zero friction. You could enter from any direction at any speed whenever you felt like it. So the aggressive drivers basically bullied their way through. The cautious people just froze at the edges. And everyone else had to adopt this really exhausting, low-trust defensive posture.
Exactly. And cities, they tried everything to fix it without adding friction, right? They tried bolting signs to poles that said, slow down.
Right, which does nothing.
Yeah, exactly. They tried social norms like yield to the right, but none of it worked because it didn't change the underlying structure.
Right.
That is until August 5th, 1914 in Cleveland, Ohio.
Right.
They installed the very first electric traffic light.
Which at the time was this completely radically counterintuitive idea. You're telling people to make traffic move faster, we are legally forcing you to stop.
Right.
And of course, people absolutely hated it.
Oh, they hated it. They called it an infringement on their freedom, a total nuisance. But what happened next literally changed the world.
Yeah.
Because that small mandatory friction, just a few seconds of waiting, a little bit of time burned irreversibly, it actually increased throughput.
It's why
It replaced personal trust, where you had to hope the other driver wasn't completely reckless. With structural trust, you didn't trust the driver anymore. You trusted the mechanism of the light.
So bringing this back to the sources we have in front of us,
Yeah.
MFL is essentially trying to build the digital equivalent of that 1914 traffic light. Because if we look at the digital world you and I use every single day, our social feeds, the comment sections, voting mechanisms, they're the exact same open intersections from 1914.
Precisely. Entry is free. Friction is zero. And so the aggregate result is highly, highly predictable. The bad actors, the botnets, the loudest, most aggressive voices, they just completely dominate the space.
And just like the cities back then, we try to fix it by, treating the symptoms. We use content moderators.
Which is literally like putting a policeman in the middle of a chaotic intersection to direct traffic by hand.
Right. Or we use these incredibly lengthy terms of service agreements, which are basically the rusting slowdown signs of the internet.
Yeah, exactly. Because none of those solutions actually touch the structural issue. When it costs absolutely nothing to occupy a shared digital space, everyone occupies it simultaneously. And the space becomes completely useless. The cautious users retreat, and the system actively selects for the people who are just willing to externalize all their noise onto everybody else.
Okay, let's unpack this. Because in tech, friction is usually treated as the ultimate enemy.
Right.
The whole industry is built on one-click everything, seamless integration, endless scrolling. Are these sources really arguing that making things structurally harder for the user actually makes the platform better?
They are, but it's a very specific kind of friction. MFLO introduces this foundational mechanism that they simply call the burn.
The burn.
Right. To participate in any meaningful way on this network, whether that's posting an article, curating a link, or even just messaging someone, you have to burn a small amount of MFLO tokens.
Okay.
But here's the critical part. those tokens do not go to the developers.
Oh, interesting.
They don't go to other users as some sort of transaction fee. They go to a permanent, completely unrecoverable smart contract address called the Fountain.
Okay, so for those listening who might not be super deep in the weeds of crypto, let's just clarify what a smart contract address actually is in this specific context.
Essentially a digital lockbox with no key, right? The address is 0x0000 ending in 0369. And once tokens go into that specific digital address, they are gone forever.
Yes.
No one can withdraw them.
Exactly. It is a non-extractive, non-negotiable cost. By sending tokens to the Fountain, you are mathematically proving what the sources call your liveness.
Liveness.
Yeah, you're proving your commitment and your actual presence in that exact moment. It's the digital equivalent of waiting at a red light.
Right.
That brief moment of time and effort is pretty trivial for an individual human who just wants to leave a thoughtful comment, but it becomes economically and temporally catastrophic for a spammer who's trying to automate 10,000 bot actions across the network.
So it filters out the automated noise. But, the immediate question that pops into my head, and I'm sure it's popping into your head too as you listen to this, is the wealth gap.
Oh, yeah.
If participation requires burning cryptocurrency, doesn't wealth just buy the green light?
It's a great question. I mean, if I'm a newcomer with, say, 10 tokens, and someone else is this massive crypto billionaire with 10 million tokens, doesn't the billionaire just completely dominate the entire intersection because they have way more capital to burn?
It's literally the most intuitive objection to any system that involves a financial token. But the architecture of MFLO actually prevents that wealth dominance using a concept called the 18 decimal canvas and the Quest key gate.
Okay, walk us through how that actually works in practice.
Okay, so every single token burn on the MFLO network has 18 decimal places.
Right.
The integer, so the number on the left side of the decimal, like 111 or 314, that's just a routing label.
Like a frequency.
Exactly. It's like tuning into an FM radio station. It just tells the system what application or action you are actually trying to access.
Right, so picking station 101.1 doesn't mean you love music more than someone listening to 88.5.
No, not at all.
It's just a destination.
Exactly. The actual weight of your action, your human intent, is encoded into the decimals on the right. The system generates this highly specific, rapidly rotating precision target on your screen. And to act, you literally have to hold a button down while this visual target spins, and you have to release it to match the decimals precisely.
Wow.
It's a physical charge and release timing mechanic.
Wait, hold on. If I'm playing this from like a really bad Wi-Fi connection in a coffee shop somewhere, doesn't lag totally ruin my timing?
You would think so.
Yeah, like how does a decentralized blockchain know the difference between a lack of physical skill and just a really slow internet connection?
See, that is the brilliant part of the engineering here. The timing isn't actually dependent on network ping at all.
Oh, really?
Yeah, when you hold and release that button, your local browser is generating a localized cryptographic proof of that exact physical interaction.
Ah.
It packages your timing data into a signature, and that signature is what gets sent to the blockchain. The blockchain isn't timing your internet speed, it's just verifying the math of the signature you created locally.
That makes so much sense.
And the sweet spot for that release is incredibly tight. It's roughly a 200 millisecond window.
Okay, so picture this scenario. You have that whale with 1 billion tokens, and then you have our newcomer with just 10 tokens.
Right.
They both want to perform an action on the network. They both sit staring at the exact same rotating target, holding the exact same button, trying to hit that tiny 200 millisecond release window. Wealth cannot widen that window.
Exactly.
The billionaire's thumb doesn't react any faster just because of their bank account.
What's fascinating here is MFLO operates entirely on this principle of record over capital.
Record over capital.
Right. The platform uses the concept of costly signaling, but it fundamentally redefines what the cost actually is. The cost isn't financial capital. The cost is human time, effort, and timing.
And the sources use a really memorable analogy for this. They compare the entire process to building a smoke signal.
Yes, I love this analogy.
Right, like when you want to send a smoke signal, you have to gather the wood, build the fire, wait for it to catch, and then expertly shape the smoke using a blanket. But nobody mourns the burnt wood. The wood itself was never the point.
No, the value is in the effort of the fire maker. It's the message, the physical labor, the timing. In this entire ecosystem, the MFLO token is just the wood.
Just the wood.
Yeah, the 18 decimal proof permanently records on the public ledger that you showed up, you waited, and you actually completed the precision work. That human cost is what makes the signal trustworthy to everyone else.
Okay, so if MFLO is forcing users to slow down and prove their intent at this deep structural level, what does it actually look like to read or create on this platform?
It's very different.
Right, because the sources outline these different interactive districts for creators and cultivators, and they function really differently from what we're used to. Let's look at how MFLO changes reading and writing through the Creator Toolkit.
So the Creator Toolkit features the VLL blog and this curated signal forum called Flow Accesses. And the intentional friction here creates some incredibly unique interfaces.
Yeah, one of the features mentioned is Albert Hindsight. I still love this. If you plug in your own AI key, you get this chill 8-bit pixel owl who basically acts as your metadata manager.
Right, but he doesn't critique your actual writing.
No, he just quietly makes sure your tags, your excerpts, and your slugs are perfectly packed and shipped so people can actually find your work.
But the real shift in how we read, I think, is seen in the AXO refraction panel on the blog.
Yeah, explain that.
It's a perfect example of MFLO's philosophy applied to, like, human debate. If you read an article and you want to really engage with it, you can't just scroll to the bottom and yell your opinion in a comment section.
Which is what everyone does now.
Right, but here, the interface physically prevents it. The AI actually forces you to explore different perspectives sequentially.
You literally have to do the work.
Yes.
You do a TLDR, you simplify the text to test your own understanding, you look for what you might be missing, and then you are forced to read counterpoints.
Which is the system serving you the strongest possible argument against the original author's thesis?
And you cannot unlock the final stage, which is called bridges, where you basically synthesize opposing views to find common ground until you have cryptographically proven that you engage with those counterpoints.
It demands patient engagement, right, rather than just instant reactive debate.
And we see this exact same principle applied to intensity in the FlowAxis forum.
Right.
When you react to a shared link on FlowAxis, you use this AMP or DAMP system on a scale of 1 to 11. But again, you don't express the level 11 conviction by just spending more tokens.
No.
How does the user actually prove their intensity mechanically?
By holding their position in time.
Time.
Yeah, you literally hold the reaction button down in seconds. When you hold that button for, say, 8 seconds, your browser is actually generating a localized cryptographic proof of that exact time span.
Wow.
And it permanently etches your 8 seconds of human attention onto the ledger. It creates this actual physical resistance. You have to viscerally feel the difference in time between giving a casual nod at a level 3 and expressing deep, burning conviction at a level 8. Time becomes the currency of intensity.
If time is the currency of intensity, that fundamentally changes the incentives for showing up. But it also raises a pretty huge structural question.
Right.
If your platform is intentionally difficult to use and you have to burn time and effort just to participate, how do you actually convince anyone to join in the first place? Like, how does a community like this even grow?
Well, most platforms use referral programs that are, let's be honest, essentially pyramid schemes.
Oh, totally. Bring in 10 bodies, get a token bonus.
Exactly. It incentivizes spamming your link everywhere, regardless of whether those people actually care about the platform at all. But MFLO uses a cultivator system called Entropy, and it completely inverts that logic.
Right, because you only get credit if the person you bring in actually participates in the friction.
Yes.
You send a small amount of MFLO to a new wallet to just get them started, but that doesn't get you any reward on its own. Instead, this 14-day attribution window starts ticking.
And if that seeded wallet validates a meaningful burn within those 14 days, like if they write a thoughtful post, curate a signal, or navigate that 18 decimal timing canvas successfully, then, and only then, do you receive cultivation credit.
It measures what the developers call patient urgency.
Right. You aren't rewarded for sheer volume. You are rewarded for your judgment in finding people who genuinely want to put in the effort to participate.
It's all about sustained, proven effort. And we see this even in the VPOS Pledge Board,
Oh, yeah.
which is the district where you can permanently support the platform's foundation. It prioritizes loyalty over big, flashy lump sum donations. They have these loyalty badges, right? You start at the seed, then you move up to a drop, sprout, wave, all the way up to a hurricane badge.
And you only achieve those higher tiers through weekly consistency. So a user who pledges a tiny amount of tokens for 15 consecutive weeks to earn that hurricane badge will publicly outrank a crypto whale who just drops a massive sum of money into the protocol one single time.
Capital cannot buy that record of loyalty.
Exactly. And if you stop showing up, your badge decays. You have to maintain your standing through continuous presence.
Okay, let's shift gears a bit. We've talked about how friction changes reading, debating, and curating. But how does this strict mathematical philosophy apply to pure competition?
Right. Gaming.
Let's look at how MFO changes gaming. Here's where it gets really interesting. The sources detail 3 main games in the arena, and they each use friction in very distinct ways.
Yeah, so the first is 4G Lori, which is a real-time hex grid strategy game, but it runs on this relentless 2-second tick engine.
Explain why that 2-second pacing matters so much in a high-friction environment.
Well, in a traditional strategy game, if you want to overwhelm your opponent, you might just use a bot to execute 1,000 moves a minute.
Right, APM just goes through the roof.
Exactly. But in 4G Lori, every single move on that hex grid requires a precision burn. The 2-second tick engine creates this relentless rhythm where you have to constantly perform that charge and release timing mechanic just to advance your pieces. It transforms strategy from just outthinking your opponent to also maintaining physical composure and precision under pressure. It completely neutralizes bot advantages.
Then there is ALI MNT, which is basically a collaborative canvas. If you're familiar with the Reddit's Place, it's a very similar concept where users work together to paint pixels on a massive board.
Yeah, but the crucial difference here is you actually have to earn the right to paint.
Right.
You don't just get a free pixel every 5 minutes. You have to execute precision burns to unlock the ability to alter the canvas.
So it ensures that every single pixel placed is the result of deliberate human effort.
Exactly. Which makes the final collaborative artwork vastly more meaningful.
But the game that might have the most real-world utility is Foresight X.
Oh, for sure.
This is their prediction market, and their operational mantra is exchange foresight, not funds.
Right, because you aren't betting your crypto on outcomes like you would on a traditional gambling site.
No, you use Foresight points, or FX. You get a daily allocation of FX, and it's totally use it or lose it. You stake your reputation, your FX, on discrete markets imported from places like Polymarket, or even on real-world MBA accuracy markets. The only way to accumulate a high balance of FX over time is to actually be right in your predictions.
You cannot deposit outside money to just buy your way to the top of the leaderboard.
And the analytics they provide on the back end of Foresight X are incredibly revealing. It tracks a composite rating of your forecasting skill, but it also tracks a specific metric called opponent quality, or OQ.
Yeah.
That is a fascinating and frankly kind of brutal metric.
It really is. Opponent quality publicly displays the average win rate of the people you have beaten in these prediction markets.
It completely strips away the illusion of a high score. If you have this massive win rate on your profile, everyone can just click on your name and see exactly how you got it.
Right.
Did you get it by outsmarting elite analysts and forecasters who also have high scores? Or does your low OQ score reveal that you've just been farming unproven rookie accounts to pad your stats?
It creates total transparency. I mean, whether you are writing a nuanced blog post, painting a pixel on a shared canvas, or making a prediction about an NBA game, the protocol ensures that your true level of human investment, skill, and history is permanently and publicly visible to everyone else in the intersection.
So what does this all mean for you listening right now? When we pull back from the precision decimals, the 2-second tick engines and the cryptographic proofs of Time MFLO isn't just a suite of crypto apps.
No, not at all.
It's a diagnosis. It's pointing out that the defensive low-trust posture of the modern internet is a structural failure caused by zero friction. And its proposed cure is to mathematically prove that we are willing to stop, wait, and invest our irreplaceable human effort before we interact.
It is attempting to normalize digital friction as a feature rather than a bug. It's asking us to value the effort of the smoke signal over just the raw wood of the token.
And there is a very specific call to action in these sources that we really need to highlight for you. This isn't just theory or some white paper waiting to be built. The MFLO platform is officially open right now.
Yeah, right now.
They're actively looking for their first volunteers to enter the intersection, participate in these experiments, and give their feedback before the noise of the next crypto bull market kicks off. This is the window to actually help shape the foundation of how this protocol operates.
If we connect this to the bigger picture, it raises an incredibly important question about the future of the internet. We are entering this era where AI can generate infinite amounts of text, perfectly mimic human speech patterns, and just flood those zero-friction intersections with indistinguishable noise.
Right.
AI can fake content, but what AI cannot do is authentically burn human time, physical timing, and localized cryptographic attention.
Because it doesn't have a human lifespan to spend.
Exactly. So the question we leave you with today is this. As the internet becomes increasingly automated, will this kind of intentional digital friction, this undeniable proof of human effort and time, become our only reliable Turing test?
Wow.
Will the simple act of being forced to wait at a digital red light be the only way we can definitively prove we are interacting with another human being?
It's a fascinating thought to chew on. Thank you so much for joining us on this deep dive, and we will catch you next time.